Is he paying?
Yes.
Anthony Baker's today.
He isn't ready.
Okay.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. All right, policy moves into order. First, we have the consent agenda. Anybody on the council have anything on the consent agenda? If not, is there a motion?
I move to approve the consent agenda as presented and authorize the mayor to sign.
Second.
McMahon,
Aye.
Brown,
Aye.
Shields,
Aye.
All right, motion passed. Next, we have comments from the public. Lynn, you want to say anything? Say nothing. Okay. All right. Moving on, we have unfinished business. Removal of dangerous structure at 9 East Chippewa.
So at the December 9th council meeting, a public hearing was held and city council voted to pass a resolution declaring the structure at 9 East Chippewa dangerous and directing the owner to remove said structure. After then, the resolution was posted in the paper, sent to all registered owners of the property. One of the registered agents for the LLC reached out via email to me asking if we were trying to send him something. I sent him a digital copy of the resolution explaining what it was for. There's still kind of been a back and forth and changing names. But I did send it to him because he was the last registered agent on file for that. Since then, there hasn't been any communication with city staff on any removal of the property, any plans, anything at all. And last time I was by there a few days ago, it hadn't changed. If changes had been made to the inside or anything like that, they weren't done through permits. So as far as staff is concerned, it's still a dangerous property and still a danger to the community. And staff would recommend that council allow staff to advertise for bids the demolition of the property.
And you gave us pictures of this months ago.
Correct, right?
Okay.
Yes, yeah, they were at I think the original public hearing, or the original meeting setting the public hearing, and then as well as the public hearing.
And it's only gotten worse since.
Right.
Okay. Anybody have any questions for Mitch?
No, I got to go by it the other day and you're right, it's just going downhill.
These are always frustrating situations to deal with. It's a lot on you guys, and I wish that there were an easier way to resolve it, but it seems like the only path forward.
Yeah, and like I said before, going through this official process, last year into now, is just the tail end of everything. I've been trying to work with the owners for years now. We're trying to get it remodeled and get it fixed up. They originally said they had plans to do it, but followed through with it and stopped hearing from them.
Yeah. I don't know, you're good about getting people time to communicate.
Unfortunately, Councilman Brown, I'm going to agree with you, we'd like to keep it, but man, I think it's went past the tipping point that it's not repairable.
All right, if there are any other questions or comments, is there a motion?
I move to allow the city staff to advertise a request for bids to demolish the dangerous structure located at 9 East Chippewa Street.
I'll second that motion.
McMahon,
Aye.
Brown,
Aye.
Shields,
Aye.
All right, motion passes. Next, we have new business, the 2026 property liability and auto insurance renewal, which came over slightly under what we budgeted, maybe. Yeah.
yes, this is actually kind of exciting for insurance.
Yeah.
We always budget every year for a 10% increase. And this year it came in around 7% increase, so we definitely have budget to cover these. Nothing really changed. They do every year suggest we look at increasing our cyber security, which we can probably look at budgeting that next year because people are getting weird. So other than that, there's really nothing nothing to note in the insurance.
Worth looking into because I know some other municipalities pretty locally have had issues.
Yes.
So. Something we got for next year. Anybody have any questions on this?
I got one, I'm not that well versed in property insurance, but I see a terminology down there called linebacker.
They like to lump things together, so it just puts a bunch of like the cyber, the law enforcement, that it just puts things
That's just the
together.
terminology that's.
Yeah,
Okay.
it really doesn't make sense to anybody, but they
That's,
call it linebacker, yeah.
that's fine, I just didn't, I thought maybe some more detail, but
Any other questions? If not, is there a motion?
Ms. Mayor, I'll make a motion to approve the insurance renewal provided EMC insurance companies through Elliott Insurance Group in the amount of $238,739 for the coverage year of April 1st, 2026 to March 31st, 2027.
I'll second that.
McMahon.
Aye.
Brown.
Aye.
Shields.
Aye.
Motion passed. All right. Next, we have the CUP for 508A Baptiste Drive, and it's ordinance number 3244.
So at the February 17th planning commission meeting, planning commissioners voted unanimously to recommend approval of a CUP for auto sales at 508 Baptiste Drive. This request is completed by Daniel Chadwick, who owns JDC Motor Group. Later last year, council approved a CUP for his business just west of the square. He's primarily engaged in online vehicle sales. He has a transportation business that transports those once they're sold, so there really wasn't a need for really on-site storage at that location. But since then, good news is his business has grown, and he's needed some more space. He's wanted to do on-site sales of vehicles. So he found this place on Baptiste at 508, which actually used to be a used car dealership a long time ago. So it's already kind of set up for it. Also last year, another company applied for a CUP there and was granted one there. And they never set up business there. They terminated their lease with the owner. Was it when they moved into this space? So staff recommendation is the approval of the CUP with the following conditions. Any lighting improvements made to the property must be like cutoff fixtures and be approved by the zoning administrator prior to their installation or use. All vehicles are kept on the property must be in operable condition at all times. Windshield signage is prohibited on vehicles displayed along the south property line. Model year and sale price are excluded from that. No light or heavy auto repairs permitted except detailing, blemish removal, and accessory installation. If deemed necessary, a review of compliance will be made by the zoning administrator to the planning commission 1 year after issuance. Subsequent annual reviews may be requested by planning commission. Such reviews are not subject to publication notification and public hearing requirements. If applicant is requesting an amendment to the CUP, the notification shall follow the same procedures as the original CUP. And then same one we put on every CUP. At any time, the city may institute revocation of the CUP for violations of the conditions of approval, expiration, or reasons specified in section 21-225 of the LDL. City shall provide notice to the landowner and public in the same manner as was provided for the establishment of the original CUP. Some of those kind of taken off of other used car dealerships in the same zoning district, just to keep everything kind of comparable. The lighting, it's been kind of a trend with newer lighting and newer businesses. Lighting has gotten brighter. So that's something. The LDO requires cutoff fixtures. for almost every lighting. So we've gotten complaints over the last couple of years on lighting, especially around Baptiste, getting into trouble size. So I really wanted to make sure that he at least got everything approved through me, make sure it was in line with the LDO before we put any lighting in.
I'm assuming you haven't had any issues out of the current CUP for him.
No, we haven't had any complaints, anything like.
Is he leaving the 125 West Peoria Street address?
Correct.
Okay.
Anybody else have any questions on this? If not, is there a motion?
I move to adopt ordinance number 3244 for a conditional use permit with conditions for automotive sales at 508A Baptiste Drive.
A second.
McMahon,
Aye.
Brown,
Aye.
Shield,
Aye.
Alright, motion passed. Next, we have liquor regulations, boat trailer parking modification, and it's an ordinance number 3245.
Staff is requesting modifications to section 12-223 storage of boats, boat parts and trailer prohibited under the Lake Milo rules and regulations. This request follows multiple issues our staff has had with visitors taking advantage of the current regulation. The following proposed changes help define the issue and set more clear expectations for both staff and visitors. The current regulation is as follows. They shall be unlawful to store boats, boat parts, or boat trailers in any undesignated area at Milo Park for a period no longer than 14 days. For the purpose of this section, boats shall include all watercraft, boat trailers attached and unattached are allowed in designated trailer parking areas only as shown on the official plan. The penalty imposed for violation of this section shall be $50 per day. The new regulations that have been proposed will accomplish the following: provides a more clear definition on what devices are prohibited from being stored at campgrounds, limits how many devices are allowed to be stored, shorten the length of time that items may be stored in undesignated areas from 14 days to 48 hours, and only campground residents with a valid permit are allowed to park devices in the trailer parking area adjacent to the campground. So staff recommends adopting ordinance 3245, amending section 12-223 of the Lake Milo rules and regulations.
And you checked into the fee and felt good about it?
It was already,
It was already 50.
the,
Melissa took it from an old draft instead of.
Okay, it wasn't
previously
25.
updated, it was always 50.
Okay,
yeah, it was already good, so
okay.
there.
Anybody have any questions for Brad on this one?
It times it up quite a little bit. I mean, unfortunately, people will take advantage of such words. I don't have any other questions, Mayor.
Anybody else? No, is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to adopt ordinance 3245, amending section 12-223 of Lake Milo rules and regulations.
I'll second.
McMahon.
Aye.
Brown,
Aye.
Shield,
Aye.
Motion passed. Next we have the green pool slide rehab proposals.
Yes, so we just went over this a little bit at work study, but the Paola Family Pool Green Slide was implemented in the early 2000s and has been operational ever since. And has needs some love and care. So we were able to our purchasing policy requires 3, but we were only able to get 2 because of the work, very specialized. So we were able to get a bid from Splashtacular and Landmark Aquatic for the exact same work. They both did site visits. We did everything the same. Splashtacular's is $56,985 and Landmark Aquatic is $29,174.28. I do want to note that we have not worked with Landmark Aquatic in the past, so this will be a new vendor we'll be working with if that is the proposal you decide to go with. Both proposals are attached if you have any questions.
But did you say you knew who work they had done?
Yeah, if you go to the website, they work for very large water parks.
Yeah.
Yes,
That's what I thought you said.
yeah. They have very good references, I'll say that.
How long did they give a bid?
Yeah, they, it just kind of happened by happenstance. He just ended up coming around the pool and met Sherry and said, hey, this is the work I do. And so it worked out really nice.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right, nobody has any questions? Is there a motion?
Move to approve bid from Landmark Aquatic. The amount of $29,174.28 for rehabilitation of the green slide at the Paola family pool.
I'll second that motion.
McMahon,
Aye.
Brown,
Aye.
Shields.
Aye.
All right. The Carroll Family Pool fee update, and this is a resolution.
Yes, ma'am. So also discussed that work study pretty briefly. Currently, the Paola Family Pool, we offer individual and group passes. We are proposing going just to individual passes. And then we are also asking to add veterans into the discount that already exists for senior citizens. This, the individual passes will make it much easier for staff and for citizens to purchase the passes. We discussed how a group pass, everyone in the group has to be present at the time of purchase to take the picture. This allows them to come in at separate times, take separate pictures, and not have to all be there at once. So, fee wise, we got the middle of it, so group pass started at 35 for, and then build on that, and then individual was 50, so we went 40. So, first was 45, I'm sorry. Individual 50, first on the adult pass was 45, and then 35 after that, but yes, so we went with 40 individual, and then added the veterans to the senior discount. Those are only two proposed changes.
I thought about this since our work study meetings. And was curious, and I was trying to pre-think about the questions people were gonna ask me. Why we wouldn't allow the groups to take separate pictures.
They're on one pass.
It's
Yeah, it
on,
would be,
it's one,
So if they come in and purchase a pass, and let's say, okay, well, my daughter's gonna come in at a separate time, that would, it's a managing nightmare for our staff to do. We only have 2 people doing it, is honestly what it is.
Okay.
Correct me if I'm wrong.
yeah, the pictures are separate,
Yeah,
it's just the
purchase at
paperwork,
one time and all the paperwork together. It would, it's a managing nightmare for them.
Any other questions on this? If not, is there a motion?
I move to approve resolution number 2026-002, amending the Paola Family Pool fee schedule.
I'll second that motion.
McMahon,
Aye.
Brown,
I,
Shields.
Aye.
All right, motion passed. Fire code update, ordinance number 3246.
So we went over this summit, work study, it's kind of recently come up that, there's been some violations to the fire code. And the city really hasn't had a good way to enforce it. Aside from revoking people's certificate of occupancy and, getting rid of, kicking people out of houses essentially. So staff has looked through, several other cities adopted fire codes, and when we adopt building codes and fire codes, we do it with amendments to them. A lot of cities customize it to allow them to enforce it. So I put together some amendments that kind of compile all the other cities, and I think it'll be a good fit for us. So the proposed amendments would be to 7201C of the city code, which is where we adopted the International Fire Code. And that changes the definition of fire code official just from fire chief of the city of Paola to fire chief, city of Paola, or his or her designee. In the fire code, the fire code official is mentioned several times in enforcement and decisions. So that would allow myself to enforce it as far as writing notices to appear on violations, rather than the fire chief having to write them himself. Another section would be subsection E. which refers to section 110.3.3 of the IFC for prosecution and violations. The new section would read, if a notice of violation is not complied with promptly, the fire code official is authorized to issue a notice to appear in municipal court for a violation. The way the fire code has it currently wrote, is a little more universal. We handle all of our code violations nuisance wise in municipal court, so I tailored it to that. Subsection F refers to section 110.4. And that's in regards to the penalties. And that section in the IFC actually has blanks in it for cities to amend as they need to match their fine schedules. So it will read, persons who shall violate a provision of this code or shall fail to comply with any of the requirements thereof, or who shall erect, install, alter, repair, or do work in violation of the approved construction documents or directive of the fire code official or the conditions of any permit or certificate issued under provisions of this code shall be subject to prosecution of a misdemeanor offense, punishable by a fine of not less than $100 nor more than $500, or imprisonment not to exceed 30 days, or shall include both a fine and imprisonment. Each day during or on which a violation occurs or continues shall constitute an additional or separate offense. In that section, the fines and jail time is in line with our current nuisance violation fines, just to keep everything on the same page. And then, so the judge would, if they were found guilty, the judge would set it somewhere in between there. So this will help give us some resolution to some fire code violations without having to displace people, which is, we're not in it to find people and take their money. We're in it to just get compliance and have safe buildings for everybody. So this helps with that.
Okay.
And I did send all these to fire chief and it's good with all the changes.
Are you?
Yeah.
Cause you don't have to do all of it.
If you think of
Sounds like a good change again. How are these violations usually, cause you said you had some issues? Are they just discovered on re-inspections or calls?
Yeah, usually re-inspections. You know, we have yearly inspections for a lot of commercial businesses, commercial housing, restaurants, are the main ones that get yearly inspections. Will be deficiencies found. Not like, you know, our fire inspectors going in and finding something that the fire code requires for a new build and saying, well, you need to add this. It's something that's in place and has to be working like a fire alarm. And what's required, and they've had it, they just haven't had it up to date on everything.
Okay. Anybody have any questions for Mitch on this one? Or Chief Harden, actually?
This is a little bit, I think it's topic adjacent, but I think when we were talking to work study about this, some of the different things that are happening regarding different types of monitors that need to be able to call themselves. What is the false? Is that ever a burden to the departments if are there false calls that those devices make?
There are false alarms made.
Or should we just have a policy in place not that long ago?
We actually have a false policy in place, so they have so many violations for 6 months, and it's a fee for every time, because we were losing so much money on calls for false alarms. They get dispatched out with false alarm, then we lose money, so.
But that wouldn't be necessarily under the control of the of the occupant or the owner, would it? Whether the device is making a false alarm?
It would be
The owner.
under the control of the owner.
Yeah.
Cause it's their responsibility to coordinate with their, false alarms can happen for any reason. Could happen for, occupants pulling, fire alarms negligently
Okay,
or, a fault in the alarm system. But it's still their responsibility to coordinate with their alarm system company to have those issues fixed. Typically, the repeat alarms, is due to them not being on top of getting things fixed. Problems.
are those fairly stable systems or do they require a bit of maintenance? I'm wondering about anything that might be considered.
As far as I'm aware, they're pretty stable systems. I mean, they're a life safety thing, so they're checked on and they're monitored, 24/7. And the fire alarm companies themselves actually come out and inspect them as well, so. Wouldn't be something just that you would buy from the store and they're very high dollar, high tech system.
Like you said, it's something, they're very reliable, and it's usually somebody that is causing it to be a repeat problem. If it is a problem with the system, they're usually quickly fixed.
Yeah.
And then, we don't have a problem after that.
Is there some nuance in the way the code is written or maybe the application of it in terms of if someone has a legitimate issue of they're having their system serviced, they're trying to take the appropriate actions, but it keeps glitching and making calls that,
We can put somebody on fire watch and then, until the system is fully repaired, and then manage it internally until that happens. So we don't have the repeat call up.
And the fire code actually, I think requires somebody either from, correct me if I'm wrong, I think somebody from that business or property to be on fire watch if the system is down.
So every hour on the hour until it's fixed, they have to do a walk to the facility and monitor it. And the only way we will get notified is if they call it in directly. And then once it's back in service, they have to call them, let us know that they're no longer on fire watch.
Most, 98% of the businesses and owners around the fire alarms are on top of it. If there's problems, they're going to get something fixed, get everything resolved.
this will be a silly comment, but like I have a updated smoke alarm system in my house where they're all connected. And I pull all my hair out for the reason I don't have any hair, but trying to troubleshoot the dumb thing. And it just keep going off at no less than like 2 or 3 in the morning, because that's the best time for it to malfunction. So I was thinking of somebody else in that predicament, how we might deal with that in a way where.
We typically, when we show up, we'll go through a procedural check, and, we can identify which devices set the alarm off. And we'll typically clean them out for the occupant, and then advise them that periodically you need to clean them out, detectors and things like that. If it's something that's dated, then, the recommendation of having them replaced, they are
It might end up being a bug,
yeah.
but it took me a long time. It was a small bug. It took me a long time.
So did you get it fixed?
I did.
That's good.
Any other questions on this? If not, is there a motion?
I move to adopt ordinance number 3246, amending section 7-201 of the Paola Municipal Code.
I'll second that motion.
McMahon.
Aye.
Brown.
Aye.
Shields.
Aye.
Motion passed. All right. 2026 sewer lighting.
All right, this is our yearly sewer lining. We've used CIPP, which is your replaced pipe for several years to rehab the aging infrastructure in the sewer system. The CIPP process is trenchless, so it's allowed less disruption to traffic and residents' yards are not disturbed. Completion of the process leaves a new, very durable pipe. Typically, in the past, we've struggled getting a second viable bid. I had somebody reach out to me, and so we do have 2 bids this year. We're looking to line 1,750 linear feet of pipe. The 2 bids are from In Situ Form, who typically does ours. That one's $89,199. And the new company is SAK Pipeline Infrastructure. They came in at 75,200. I did look into SAK, they nationwide. I think it said they've done over 3 million linear feet of sewer lining. From Kansas City, St. Louis, San Diego, LA, so they do it everywhere. And with the lower price, that leaves us room to do some more sewer work. I'm looking to install a manhole, and if I get the cost low enough on manhole installed, then we might be able to add to the linear feet that we're able to. This cost of the repairs is a budgeted item, and we paid out of the sewer utility budget. So staff recommends approving the bid from SAK Pipeline Infrastructure and the amount of $75,250.
Good to have multiple bids again. Anybody have any questions on this one?
You know, I think, it's not same with asphalt, a lot of stuff we do is consistency every year, and then eventually you'll do well, so. With that, there's no other questions, Ms. Mayor, I'll make a motion.
Okay.
Motion to approve the bid from SAK Pipeline Infrastructure in the amount of $75,250 for the 2026 CIIP sewer lining, and thank you for checking into SAK.
Second.
McMahon.
Aye.
Brown.
Aye.
Shields.
Aye.
All right, motion passed. Next, we have the asphalt bids for the 2026 street improvement program.
Put together a proposed street improvement plan for 2026 and presented at the work study meeting for feedback and discussion. I received 4 bid proposals for the 2026 2-inch mill and overlay and 6-inch patchwork. The scope of the patchwork may expand as well. There may also be increased costs of establishing a good base on the patches, so left some room for any kind of contingencies. The budget for the street improvement plan is $480,000. Therefore, the final cost of the patchwork may allow for additional overlaying and patching that we may be able to add once we see what the patchwork of the old parking lot comes in at. The bids are as follows. We have Way and Sons came in the lowest at $300,770. McEnany came in at $326,918.50. Killo came in at $375,377.28. And Superior Bowen came in at $387,210. Multiple funds are used for this street improvement plan. We utilize annual budgeted funds first, and then we use the street CIP funds. Staff recommends approving the proposed bid from Way and Sons Construction totaling $300,770.
Did you say how Superior Bowen bid before?
No, they're actually O'Donnell.
Oh,
I
yeah.
reached out to O'Donnell, and Superior Bowen has bought out O'Donnell, so that's how I ended up with them.
I think that I asked you that same question last week. I just forgot. Even though they were hired, it's good to have
Yeah,
local people.
yeah, O'Donnell's one we've used before, and
Mhm.
I reached out to them, and they
No.
probably told me they were bought out. but-
Okay. All right, anybody have a question on this one?
I think you got good prices on it.
Yeah.
Look at that one. Thank you for the maps, I appreciate it.
Yep.
Very, very much. I had breakfast with my family on Saturday morning. I learned a lot more about how all this works in asphalt. Can't see here, and I really wanted to, but we did get some family stuck in between there, so.
I'll just hang on to the printout that you give us, because people always ask,
Mhm.
they wanna know
Yeah.
which roads are getting done.
Yeah.
Right, any other questions on this one? If not, is there a motion?
I'll make the motion, move to approve the proposed asphalt bid from Wade and Sons. Construction totaling $300,770.
Second.
McMahon.
Aye.
Brown.
Aye.
Shields.
Aye.
Right? Staff reports, Chief Hardy?
We're in the preliminary phases of, planning for an open house, June 6th, I believe is that Saturday. Give more, once we get dialed in, but, we'll do some type of demonstration, have a safety house on site for kids to run through, and then have some poses for kids to, for adults to throw some water, have some giveaways, and we'll have a smoke alarm station set up till we can educate people on smoke alarms. And so
Cool.
I'll give you more info as we move on that.
That's alumni weekend.
Okay.
So maybe there might be some people that used to know it as a school
Oh, yeah, could be nice.
that would like to come through and see what it
Yeah,
is.
yeah, we'll give tours of the
Yeah,
place as well and show what we've done with it and how we use it.
okay. I think if people haven't been in there in a long time, some of it just looks frozen in time. It's pretty neat. Very good. All right, Chief Corbin?
Public Works has started working on our front sidewalk, as you can see out there. There's a lot of work for them to do, so busy all summer. Thank you. We also got all the equipment for our Axon order in, except the drone. We've started training, this week. And hopefully here in the next 3 weeks, we'll have tasers in officers' hands. So looking forward to that.
Good. All right, right. Nothing else? Mitch?
We're up to 76 permits, so still averaging over permit a day. Then we won't have anything on the planning commission agenda for next week, so I'm gonna send out some, planning commission training for all the commissioners, just keep everybody up to date on everything, and then looks like we might have something for April.
Okay. Good. Randy?
Downtown master plan proposals are due Thursday.
Okay,
We've gotten a lot of inquiries. I think last time I checked my list, we were at 12. We've already received 2 electronic submissions, so
okay,
yeah, but hopefully we're gonna get at least a few. So,
good.
yeah.
Stephanie? Nothing? All right, JR?
Just a couple things here, council, I did a very, to the detriment of my wife, thinking that I have nothing to do in my life. On our budget, I went through it and everything else like that, and was able to talk to Stephanie and Randy, really the whole bunch over there. Very well put together budget. I do like a lot of how they view and they do things with that. So again, I took a very deep dive on it. So great job, staff, on what you all did over there. The second thing is probably on a more serious note, is that, within the last month, Chief Hardick and I was out, we were talking about the number of fires that we had in Miami County. And then, our fire department, of course, goes out and helps. And unfortunately, on Monday, we lost 2 residents here of Miami County. I'm friends with the Smith family. I've known them for a really long time. And the way that, I seen it, we were over there assisting with Chief Hardick.
Yeah.
With that, and not to get into any of the details, but I think a tremendous lot of the Smith family. But I know on behalf of the council, Chief Hardick, we appreciate you going over there and assisting, and it's not, and it's a horrible job. But we do appreciate that very much, and I know the Smith family appreciates that, so whatever.
Josh? Nothing? Leah?
No.
Nothing?
No,
I have a whole bunch of stuff.
yeah,
Like you're busy.
I've been trying and trying. I still have. I'm trying to think. There's still a couple vacancies, but we're just about caught up, I think. People aren't knocking down the door to volunteer. So we've got a bunch of appointments and reappointments on here. If you guys will just go through them. The first one is the reappointment of Harold Homerhausen, Carol Sandberg, and Dennis Grandin to the Phil Free Library Board.
Has doing the deep dive in the budget, there's a lot more to this being on the library board, than people think there is, but, anyway, if there's no other questions, I'll make a motion to approve, the reappointment of Harold Homerhausen, Carol Sandberg, and Mr. Dennis Grandin to the Paola Free Library Board.
I'll second that.
McMahon,
Aye.
Brown,
Aye.
Shields,
Aye.
Okay. Consider the reappointment of Leanna Stanchfield to the Palo Housing Authority Board.
I'll make a motion to approve the reappointment of Leanne Stansfield to the Paola Housing Authority Board. I'm working for you over here. Okay?
Second.
McMahon,
Aye.
Brown,
Aye.
Shields,
Aye.
Usually unless they just want them off, or if there's a term limit, if they want to continue to serve, I'll let them keep serving. It's hard to find people. Consider the appointment of Brenda Mosley to the Palo Housing Authority Board.
I move to approve the appointment of Brenda Mosley to the Paola Housing Authority Board.
I'll second that motion.
McMahon,
Aye.
Brown,
Aye.
Shields,
Aye.
All right. Lynn is actually here, so we're gonna do hers. She wanted to come and observe tonight. Consider the appointment of Lynn Cutsworth and Kelly Schwacken to the Palo Planning Commission.
I move to approve the appointment of Lynn Cutsworth and Kelly Schwacken to the Payroll Planning Commission.
I'll second that motion.
McMahon,
Aye.
Brown,
Aye.
Shields,
Aye.
Thank you, Ms. Cuthbert, for, thank you very much for volunteering for this board.
I think it's good you're sending out the training stuff too, because all the boards are important, but planning commission has a lot more going on. So,
Yeah.
It's a lot of love.
yeah. Consider the reappointment of Angela Berryman and Casey Crum to the Community Center Board.
I move to approve the reappointment of Angela Berryman and Casey Crum to the Paola Housing Authority Board.
oh, that's
I'll second that motion.
community center. I knew I was gonna miss one of you though. Sorry, you did good.
Oh, yeah, and then where do you,
Yeah, sorry, that's my fault. Was there a second?
Jared
Did I miss
seconded.
okay, sure. McMahon,
Aye.
Brown,
Aye.
Shields,
Aye.
So this next one is the same. It'll be community center board.
community center, right?
So it's funny, the community center board is one that you can only serve 2 terms and then you have to come off. So the first person I thought of was Lee, but I thought he was way too busy. And then he retired from the fire department, so we snatched him up. But he'll be great. He goes there and does sound and stuff for the shows, so he'll be really good.
These are enough anyway.
Yeah, might as well put one more.
I move to approve the appointment of Lee Mott to the Payola, or to the Community Center Board, sorry.
I'll second that.
McMahon,
Aye.
Brown,
Aye.
Shields,
Aye.
bills are falling.
All right, that's all I have for tonight. So there's a motion to adjourn.
Ms. Mayor, I'll make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
So yeah,
Second.
this community center.
McMahon,
Aye.
Brown,
Aye.
Shields.
Okay.
So-
Aye.
All right, meeting adjourned.
Did you notice on that, it was